What's up, people? This is jmoonies bringing you a first look at Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Machinima has graciously asked me to do a bit of preview coverage for you guys, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you what to expect in the next iteration. A lot of people were pretty hurt that they were already releasing a second rendition, which admittedly I felt as well. But I thought I'd give you a look at some of the changes they've made with the system and let you decide whether this was worth the second release. So here we are, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. One of the biggest changes you'll notice here is that they've actually added new original artwork for the interface. Everything looks a lot cleaner, and it seems like they're trying really hard to stick with the comic book theme. If you'll notice, in the original, a lot of the character portraits were based off the 3D models, whereas now they've attached different pieces of artwork for different profiles. Another interesting aspect here is the revision of the character bio. Now, I know this isn't really a big deal to most of you guys, but from a fan service perspective, I think they did a great job with this, because now rather than putting in a simple portrait, they've actually integrated the model viewer into the profile. So you don't have to switch menus to see the different colors or to get, a closer look at your characters. It gives you the ability to know what kind of palette swaps to expect when choosing your character. Another minor thing worth mentioning is a few of the option changes. As you can see, I've got a picture-in-picture going. They've given you the option to turn off auto super jumping. Not really sure if they plan for that to be a standard in tournament play, but it's kind of an interesting thing to include. If you weren't aware of the original, you can swap between English, Japanese, or original voices for all the Capcom characters. And new to this game is the inclusion of a subtitles option, which allows you to actually read what people are saying in the pre- and post-game animations. The original stuck with a kind of comic book theme. You had two trade paperbacks, and that's basically where you laid out your two teams of characters. Now this new one...
Normal! Welcome to the world of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The world's greatest heroes are all here. Lay claim to your glorious victory.
It's interesting to me because they've pretty much made it almost like a card collector theme. Like, if any of you have ever collected Marvel cards, you'd be very familiar with this kind of format. You can choose your characters, and you could actually see what alternate color you're selecting based on the border outside of the card as well. Another nice touch is that in the background, you'll notice what looks to be comic book art is actually concept art from the previous Marvel vs. Capcom games, which kind of gives a nod to the series' long heritage. But looking at the screen like this really gives you a sense of how big the character roster is now, even compared to before. When I first saw the character announcements, I didn't really think 12 extra characters was that much, but looking at it on this screen with a grid of 50 characters to choose from, the roster is pretty damn huge now. The map selection has also been doubled. Now you've got twice as many stages to play through. They are alternate versions of the previous ones, but drastic enough that you definitely feel like you're playing in a different zone.
You're gonna regret this in the morning. Live and let die! Fight!
But as you've seen here, basically I've transitioned into 6 different stages. 3 stages and their alternate counterparts, and you can tell how similarly they were designed. Tricell, Asgard, and Metro City, which, as you can see now, is Days of the Future Past, I believe. Now, I'll have to apologize off the bat. The gameplay, I'll be honest with you guys, the gameplay isn't that great, and that is because I literally only had about 45 minutes to really tweak around with this game. But honestly, if you want to look at gameplay tutorials and know how these characters control, you should really be watching Maximilian's series, because he does probably the best job I've seen of explaining this stuff on YouTube. As far as the fighting screen interface, you'll notice now, if you haven't been following up on this stuff already, that there's a redesign of all the bars. Your reserve characters are now listed above and below your main health bar, obviously notated with R1 and R2, which takes a bit of getting used to, but it's not as hard to read as I initially thought it would be. As you can see, the giant Dos Equis sign is pretty much your X Factor gauge, so it's a lot easier to know when you have it available. In regards to all the fighting mechanics, it's not exactly the same game. There have definitely been tweaks to recovery times and what can cancel into what, and to a certain degree, you'll still be able to play just like you used to, but I feel that I'm definitely going to have to rediscover all the characters I've played in the past.
Committed the crime is you! No alibi, no justice, no street, no hope! Danger! It's time to pay for your crimes! Take this!
Down!
Based on what I have played so far, I am definitely looking forward to getting to know Doctor Strange a bit better. Especially because he's got that anti-projectile counter, which will finally give me a solution to keep away type characters. In theory. I'll have to experiment with it down the road and see what kind of moves it will actually counter. Another cool feature you'll notice is that they've actually added quite a few character-specific lines of text, both in the victory screen and in the pre-animation, which is a small feature that I personally enjoy.
Now scurry into the woods, little fuzzball.
Why Suit Man object so much?
But anyways, this has been a first look at Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. Look forward to a video or two from me in the coming weeks. I am sure I will also cover online once the game goes gold, and you can expect plenty of content from the Rage Quit Hunter in future. But anyways, this is jmoonies. Thank you for watching, and have a good one. Bye.